Ashley, I think Doing It is going to be quite popular here shortly. How was Crystal originally described to you?
Crystal was described as a funky teenager who's exploring her sexuality, and she's bold, she's out there, but also she's not the brightest bulb, but like she embraces it, and she's just a little bit more like airheaded and fun.
Did Lily allow you to add anything to it that wasn't in her initial breakdown?
So it's interesting because I auditioned talking in like my normal voice, and even on set, like the first day of filming, it was like just like how I was. And then afterwards, the director is like, "What if we made Crystal like a valley girl? Like, what if we just upped her energy, upped her ditzy levels?" And so we tried a take like that, and then Sarah, who was the director, she's like, "Wait, I love that. Let's just stick with that." And so it was crazy because that wasn't in the breakdown. I didn't audition like that. I didn't even like rehearse, but then in the moment it felt right. So that's how Crystal became a Valley Girl then. Yeah.
There's such great comedic moments to this as well. Was there much room to improv in scenes, or was Lily's script and such so good you were like, I can't, I don't, let's just keep it as is?
I think from a lot of the other, this is like my first project as an actor, like first time on set, first time doing the thing. So I very much was like, I've always looked up to Lily. She's been such an inspiration to me. Working her with her was a dream. So I was like, I'm just gonna trust her judgment on this, and I'm gonna stick to the script and stick to the books, and that's it. But it was cool because a lot of my like co-stars and like people I was working with, they would just have banter and riff off of it, and Lily and the director were very supportive of it. So there were definitely a lot of elements that were not initially in the script, but it fit the moment, and it was genuinely so hilarious to see like pan out real life.
Were you familiar with any of your co-stars before working with them here?
Yeah, so a lot of them actually, which is really exciting. Of course, Lily, and then with Utkarsh, I saw him in Never Ever Ever, which was like the big hit Netflix TV show. He played the teacher, so it was very cool to see him as well be a part of the project. I was very excited also about Stephanie Beatrix because I obviously love Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and so I was like, Rosa, I was like, what are you doing here? But she played such a different character because Rosa's obviously like the deadpan, like serious, like no emotion. And she played like the lunch lady, and she was so funny. Whenever she was in our scene, it was the hardest thing to not just bust out laughing. Her improvisations and like her wittiness, phenomenal seeing that real life. So
I was just about to say, it must have been so hard to keep a straight face while she's talking about like anything in.
yeah, exactly. Like she would have one line, and for every take, she would just make it something different. And I was like, her level of creativity is amazing. I was like also taking notes at the same time because I'm like, this is such a phenomenal actress. So very cool to see her do her thing.
Scene that you're most proud of the work you put into.
I think throughout the film, there are like a lot of like great moments, but I think at the end there was just like a fun moment with Crystal, which like I won't reveal, but it definitely was like when I read it in the script, I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know this. It was kind of like not what you would expect, and so it takes a little bit of a turn, but I think that was really fun. And also seeing like the audience reaction to that scene when it premiered at South by Southwest, like the everyone just erupting into laughter. It was really validating and really it was like a great moment because I was just like, oh my God, like it hit and everyone got it and it was a great feeling. So I'm excited to see like that live reaction again with the audience.
Right? I'm
Yeah.
gonna I'm gonna get to that later, but
Yeah. Yeah.
what was it like for you guys between sets, between setups? Was it just all a bunch of laughter, relaxing? Because it's just such a funny premise. You guys must have had such fun between scenes.
We really did. And especially because this film is so like sex forward, sex positive, all about sex education. So like there was just like a whole bulletin board of just like sex art, like a vagina that's like bejeweled. I had like a boobs made out of like wire. So it was just so funny because in between takes we would just be like pointing out different things that we see in the room because the set was just so well done. So it was just really fun. And even off camera, it was like loads of fun. Lily's such a goofball. And so it was just like lighthearted energy. Obviously, being on set for like 12 hours, it's exhausting, but I think everyone was very sweet, very like chill, and it was just like a really good environment to be in.
Oh, it's I think it's just going to be a big hit. And I was going to ask you, you mentioned you got a little bit of reaction at South by Southwest, but what have been people who have seen it have been saying to you otherwise?
Yeah, so actually that's been about it just because it like is yet to release and so not many people have seen it yet unless they were at South by Southwest, but I did get DMs from it was before I even saw the film actually and someone DM'd me because they were a part of a private watch party like for the film and they were like, "Oh, I saw you in, doing it and you were so funny and blah blah blah." I've gotten a lot of positive reaction, which I'm so grateful for.
Good.
But I remember getting that DM and being like, where did you see it? Like, I haven't even seen the film yet. And she was like, no, I'm part of a private watch party. Like, I hope you see it soon. But it was just really funny that, like, it was out there. And I was like, I had no idea.
I really hope that more people get to see it here soon because it is so funny. And I think that it's just, it is so much like Never Have I Ever, but like amped up with the
Mhm. Right?
sexuality
With the whole
and
vibes. Yeah.
even more humor to it.
Yeah.
So I think that people are really, really going to love this one.
Yeah.
Is that what you think that people are going to find relatable to this? Like, I mean, it is, for people who maybe our, current sex education status, but
Right.
also I feel like it's amped up and, obviously it's a heightened
Exactly.
version
Exactly.
of that. But I still think it's just going to be so relevant for people who, who watch it, or maybe people who are like, there is this show on TLC called Versions, and
Mm.
there was this, a woman of Indian descent who said her family, like, you don't, it was too taboo
Hmm.
growing up to talk about sex, and she didn't do
Oh,
any,
yeah.
she didn't do anything. Like, she said, I fall in love with one kiss. And I'm like, I'm sure you do because,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
because, these are people who, I mean, this is such a taboo topic. I think that
Yeah.
people are just going to get such a kick out of Lily's version of it.
Totally, absolutely. I know it might be uncomfortable for some people because I know South Asians, it is a taboo topic, which is why she was so passionate about like creating this kind of project. So already in the comments, we're seeing some people like, how dare this be spoken about? But I think that's kind of what Lily wanted. She's like, I want this, like, even if you don't like it, even if it deems you as uncomfortable, it's still sparking conversation. It's making you think about it. It's making you talk about it with your colleagues. So even if it's not everyone's cup of tea, it's doing what it's supposed to and kind of breaking this barrier of, oh my God, sex, so scandalous within the community.
What's next for you? Have you been working on some other films or some TV series by chance?
Yeah, so I'm dabbling more into like the short film and TV space. So it's been fun because doing it was my first ever acting project, and that was obviously film. So it's been cool being in like the TV space. I did a really great short film, which will be coming out soon as well. So yeah, it's just been exploring acting in different fonts variations.
What would you like to say then to people who are fans and supporters of the great work you continue to do on our screens?
Absolutely. I think it's like the support and like the way that people resonate is the reason why even they thought of having like a South Asian girl play Crystal. So I think as more people continue to love and support this barrier of having people of color and South Asians be in the creative industry, it starts breaking down that barrier and normalizing it. Even with Crystal,
Yeah.
I think it's amazing because Crystal isn't a character that had to be Indian, more so she happens to be Indian. And so I think that's really powerful because not everything always has to be defined by a must be a brown girl. It was like Crystal, any ethnicity. And then it just happened to be my role. So I think it's cool to have characters like that. I think it's important as well for the screen.
Right. And certainly they don't always have to have, a thick Indian accent. You can be from any.
Exactly. Totally. 100%.
You're so good in this, Ashley. So thank you so much for
Thank
taking
you.
your time to chat with me about it. As I said, I can't wait for more people to get to see it.